Europe just gained leverage over America's tech stack at the worst possible moment for Washington. ASML increased EUV power and planning 50% more chip output by 2030. Meanwhile, Rubio told US diplomats to fight data sovereignty laws overseas, calling them burdensome and disruptive to AI services. And he pointed straight at GDPR. That's the other input AI needs: data. 2 bottlenecks, 1 region. Start with the machine. ASML is a Dutch company, and it sits on the tightest bottleneck in modern industry. If you want the most advanced chips on Earth, you need extreme ultraviolet lithography, or EUV. And ASML is the only company in the world that makes EUV machines. Not the biggest producer, the only producer. ASML controls over 90% of advanced lithography and 100% of EUV technology. That is why one technical update from ASML can ripple through the entire US tech stack. Here is the headline change. ASML increased EUV light source power from 600 watts to 1000 watts. That improvement points to about 50% more chip output by 2030. On the factory floor, the throughput target moves from 220 wafers per hour to 330 wafers per hour. That single jump matters because more wafers per hour means more usable chips coming out of the same fab capacity without waiting years to build new factories. The machines themselves are in a different league. Each EUV system costs between $200 million and $400 million. Intel has already installed multiple ASML machines costing about $400 million each, and Intel's ability to make advanced chips depends on staying on ASML's roadmap. The same dependency runs through the wider ecosystem. TSMC cannot make leading-edge chips without EUV. Samsung cannot make leading-edge chips without EUV. And every advanced chip powering Nvidia's AI hardware, plus the chips feeding Google, Amazon, and Meta data centers, comes from manufacturing lines built around ASML tools. Military systems also sit downstream from that same pipeline. To understand why this choke point is so hard to break, you have to look at the physics. ASML's EUV machines fire molten tin droplets through a vacuum chamber at 100,000 droplets per second. A massive CO2 laser hits those droplets, heating them to temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun and turning them into plasma. That plasma emits extreme ultraviolet light at a 13.5 nanometer wavelength. Then, precision mirrors made by Germany's Carl Zeiss, accurate to within picometers, capture and shape that light to print microscopic patterns onto silicon wafers. This is not one company's trick, it is an industrial web. The machines require components from 800 global suppliers, and most of them are European. That is why ASML is more than a manufacturer. It is a control point. And once you see that, the conversation naturally shifts from today's machines to what comes next on ASML's roadmap, and who is betting their future on it. ASML's 1000 watt push matters on its own, but the bigger story is the next generation of EUV. The industry is moving toward high NA systems, and this is where the gap becomes structural. Intel is betting its entire turnaround on ASML's next generation high NA EUV tools. These systems run around 350 million to 400 million each, and they sit on the path to the sub-2 nanometer era, where leading chips keep shrinking and packing in more performance. This also explains why the build-it-at-home idea is so hard in practice. ASML has spent about 30 years developing EUV. They nearly went bankrupt multiple times while pushing the technology forward. Competitors like Nikon and Canon tried, then backed off because the R&D costs were unsustainable. That history matters because it shows what the barrier really looks like. Years of trial and error, supply chains built around extreme tolerances, and an ecosystem that compounds advantage over time. ASML is also not stopping at 1000 watts. According to their lead technologist, ASML sees a reasonably clear path toward 1500 watts, and no fundamental reason why they couldn't reach 2000 watts. That means the performance ceiling keeps moving while everyone else is still trying to catch up to today's baseline. Chips are only half of AI. You also need compute, energy, and data. And this is where Europe holds a second kind of leverage that the US cannot ignore, according to Reuters reporting on a leaked internal diplomatic cable. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio ordered American diplomats worldwide to lobby against foreign data sovereignty laws. The directive is explicit: push back on rules that limit how US tech companies harvest and process citizens' personal information. The cable frames these laws as disruptive to global data flows, as raising costs, as limiting AI services, and as undermining civil liberties. In normal words, Europe wants strict control over how data is collected and moved. Washington wants fewer barriers for US platforms to move and use that data across borders. The cable specifically points to the EU's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, as an example of what it calls unnecessarily burdensome restrictions on data processing and cross-border data flows. GDPR covers around 450 million European citizens, and its rules are not vague. Companies processing EU data must obtain explicit consent, use proper security measures, report breaches within 72 hours, and limit transfers to countries that do not meet adequate protection standards. Data sovereignty means data generated inside a country stays governed by that country's laws, even when it is stored or processed elsewhere. The money trail shows how serious this is. By January 2025, American tech companies had paid over $5.88 billion in GDPR fines. Meta alone received a $1.2 billion penalty in May 2023 for illegally transferring European Facebook user data to the US. Amazon paid $746 million in 2021 for tracking users without consent. LinkedIn was fined $310 million in October 2024 for misusing user data for targeted advertising. In 2020, a European court decision made Europe much stricter about sending personal data to the United States. The reason was simple. European judges said US government surveillance rules could let American agencies access people's information in ways that don't match Europe's privacy standards. This connects to earlier revelations that showed US intelligence agencies were collecting large amounts of data through major tech platforms, including data about people outside the US. And if personal information is stored on servers inside the United States, US authorities can demand access to it even if that data belongs to foreigners and originally came from another country. This is the structural mechanism. US AI and advertising systems depend on cross-border data flows, while Europe is building a regulatory wall around that data. And GDPR is only one pillar. Europe also has the Digital Markets Act, the Digital Services Act, and the AI Act, forming a full architecture that shapes what US tech companies can do inside the European market. When you put that next to Europe's control over EUV machines, the pressure point becomes obvious. The same partner the US needs for leading chips is also tightening control over the data that trains and monetizes the AI built on those chips. Now put the two layers together and the leverage becomes concrete. On the hardware side, the US needs ASML's EUV ecosystem to keep advanced chip production moving. On the data side, US tech companies need access to European users and European data under rules that Europe controls. That is the intersection. The same partner Washington leans on for AI-scale chips is also tightening the legal perimeter around the data that feeds AI models and advertising systems. This is why the policy contradiction matters. The US has pressured the Netherlands to restrict ASML exports to China, especially at the leading edge. At the same time, the US is pushing Europe to weaken data sovereignty rules like GDPR. Meanwhile, ASML is still a global business, and China remains a major customer for older generation DUV tools. According to ASML reports, China represented 33% of ASML's tool sales by units in 2025. So Europe is sitting between two forces: US pressure to restrict sales and Europe's own interest in protecting the revenue base of its most important tech company. Now run the scenario forward with the facts already on the table. If Europe restricts or delays ASML deliveries to the US, or simply raises prices, the impact hits fast. Intel is betting its turnaround on ASML's high-NA roadmap. Slow access means Intel falls behind. If Intel falls behind, America's domestic leading-edge capacity shrinks, and dependence on Taiwan and Korea becomes deeper, creating the same national security vulnerability the CHIPS strategy was designed to reduce. The numbers show why subsidies don't solve this quickly. The The US CHIPS Act allocates about 52 bars. The EU CHIPS Act is around 43 bars. That money can fund fabs, incentives, and supply chain buildouts, but it does not create an EUV competitor. ASML's EUV stack took 30 years to build, across 800 suppliers, with Zeiss optics and extreme tolerances measured in picometers. So Washington can spend billions, but the choke point still sits where it sits. And once you see that, tariffs and diplomacy start to look like pressure applied in the wrong direction at the wrong time. Now zoom out and you can see the feedback loop forming in real time. Trump imposed 15% tariffs, and after the Supreme Court struck down his previous tariff regime as illegal, the pressure campaign shifted into a broader 15% global tariff posture. Europe responded by freezing the massive US-EU trade deal. France banned the US ambassador from government access. In November 2025, France and Germany framed digital sovereignty as a cornerstone of resilience and security. In February 2026, Finland launched a Digital Independent Citizens Initiative, warning that reliance on third-country digital infrastructure weakens autonomy. When this mindset spreads, leverage builds fast. Europe tightens data enforcement, and US tech companies face stricter operating conditions. If Europe slows ASML timelines, prioritizes other customers, or uses pricing power, the US chip pipeline tightens and AI scaling slows. History shows what happens when critical technology becomes geopolitical. During the Cold War, the US restricted semiconductor and computing exports to the Soviet Union, holding back its tech for decades. The link between semiconductor access and military capability is direct. Advanced chips power AI systems, satellite networks, missile guidance, and drone warfare. When you combine that history with today's tariffs and sovereignty moves, the trajectory becomes hard to ignore. What matters now is speed and alignment. AI leadership is no longer just about who has the best models. It's about who controls the bottlenecks that decide how fast chips arrive and how freely data can move. If Washington keeps treating allies like targets, while depending on their infrastructure, those bottlenecks turn into negotiating tools, not shared assets. So here's the real question. Does the US adjust its strategy before these constraints start showing up in production timelines and AI rollout plans? Share your thoughts in the comments and hit the like button to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.